Good afternoon. I'm David Hursh. I've been a professor of education at the Warner School at the University of Rochester for 25 years. Before that, I was an elementary school teacher and also an elementary school administrator for 8 years. And listening to the teachers give their presentations, I can't be more impressed with what I've heard than what I've heard today. You know, I keep on saying that it's the teachers who make the difference and the teachers we have to respect and trust that they can carry out and implement good education. And my sense is Commissioner King, Chancellor Tisch, and others don't trust them. But they know what they're doing, they're smart, and they presented that today. So I want to begin by thanking the teachers and parents from Spencerport for taking this stand against the misuse of testing and for meaningful assessments. In working with them, I have become aware of the extensive amount of research they have undertaken on the topic and their commitment to public education. I support everything that they have said. As an educator for over 4 decades, I never imagined that K-12 education would change as much as it has, almost entirely for the worse. I'm not sure the public fully realizes how extensive the changes have been. Before No Child Left Behind and Race to the Top, most of the decisions regarding curriculum and assessment were under the control of school districts and the state education department. For example, in the 1990s, as a parent of children in the Rochester City School District, I worked with teachers and parents in my children's elementary school to develop a literacy curriculum that reflected the diversity of the student population and supported student success no matter their reading level. However, beginning first with No Child Left Behind and now with Race to the Top, curricular and assessment decisions have largely been hijacked by the federal and state governments, wealthy foundations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and corporations such as Pearson. Bill Gates has spent, by one estimate, $2.3 billion supporting the development and implementation of the Common Core, essentially stifling reasonable discussion of its pros and cons. Further, the Gates Foundation does not act like philanthropists of the past who gave the money to, say, the Memorial Art Gallery, to use how they wanted. The Gates Foundation uses their gifts, in quotes, to buy consent to their goals. Similarly, Pearson now dominates the testing and publishing industry. To give you a sense of their dominance, they make and administer the following tests. Now, I've been doing research on this, and I knew that they were producing and involved in many of the tests. I did not realize how extensive their reach is. So just to name the ones I could find out. They administer in the National Assessment of Educational Progress, which is the nation's report card, the Stanford Achievement Test, the Miller Analogy Test, which some of us might have taken to get into graduate school, the GED, and now they bid for the International PISA exam, and the PISA exam is a test that's given in multiple countries, and is the one that's the scores that are looked to in order to assess how the U.S. compares to other countries. In New York, they created and administer EdTPA, which is the certification exam for student teachers to become teachers. This is a multiple choice exam, and also a video needs to be submitted of the student teaching. And if Pearson decides that my students are good enough to be certified, they will make the decision and grant that certification. I no longer have input onto whether they're certifiable or not. Pearson also, in New York State, works on the Common Core exams in ELA and math, and they're awarded $32.1 million from state education over 5 years. And also in partnership with the Gates Foundation, they administer the PARC exams, which is the Partnership for Assessment for Readiness for College and Careers, which is given in 15 states in the United States. So they really monopolize the assessment system in the United States and control that. So education has been hijacked by for-profit corporations, the federal government, and wealthy philanthropists, of which Gates is the wealthiest one of many. In the process, teaching as a profession is being destroyed. The proper role of the state education department and the federal government is to provide oversight, fund research, and support educational improvement, not to micromanage teachers, schools, and districts. The current corporate-led reforms marginalize the teaching profession and de-skill and discourage teachers. Such an approach can only destroy education. In response, we need to reassert, as is being done here today, teaching as a profession. The teachers and parents here today are to be commended for standing up for teaching as a profession and for their schools and students. They do so at some risk, but not doing so has a larger risk, that the skills and knowledge that teachers bring to the classroom will be ignored and eventually lost. We hope that today marks the beginning of a wave of educators, families, and community members joining in the effort to end seeking simple solutions to complex problems. We need to assert that it's our job, not Bill Gates, not the Walton Family Foundation, not Pearson's. It is our job to talk about what kind of schools and communities we want and to begin the serious task of creating them. Thank you.